Seriously, Sarah? No good, no bad? What are you trying to say? There's so much good in the world. There's so much bad going on. What does it mean, no good, no bad? There's no such thing. I can bring all these examples from the original language, Hebrew, where the word good and the word bad mean completely different things than what we got used to or programmed to think. The word you're allowed, you're not allowed to does not mean you're not allowed to do anything you're allowed to do. There's no commandment in the original language. But I don't want to go to those who has of language. I want to go to the essence. If you recall all my videos or try to bring us back from the details to the essence, to why we're doing things, because when we know where we're going, we know our goal, then whenever we have a crossroad, we will have an idea which way to choose, which way is going to lead us to where we want to go. But I think all my videos are trying to say, if we don't know where we're going, and if we don't put that where we're going into every choice we're making, we're lost. We're not getting anywhere. And that's where I'm always here getting on camera and trying to bring us back to let's go to where we came here to go, heaven on earth. And that's continuation of the previous video. I think it was called Shake the Earth Underneath. Okay, so after the words came to me to tell me to say there's no good, there's no bad, it's been a couple of days that I'm trying to ask the creator, okay, what did you just say? I know that, but I don't know that it's something people are ready to hear yet. And please help me explain the whole concept of no good, no bad. And what we said last time was there's no good, no bad, because it's all about if you're going north, every path that is taking you south, west, or east is not going to get you north. And this is really the only good and bad there is, because we're going into a heaven on earth. The universe will become heaven on earth. The universe is going back to before we became human, to everything amazing. We came back from amazing souls, amazing creators, and we're going through a path that we're supposed to bring us back to being that, to living that Garden of Eden. So if we're not on track and we're staying behind and the universe moves forward, it's like the story that I may have mentioned before that Ramash like says, the rooster is asking the bat, what are you praying for the morning to come all day? You don't even like, you can't see in the light. Which Bob Ashlag is explaining, what are we praying for Messiah if we're not praying to be Messiah by the time it comes in? Because the ultimate good in the world is not good for everybody. It's good if we're adjusting ourselves to be there. And who doesn't want to live on heaven on earth? But again, everything we're talking about, we need to be the heaven on earth that we need to see in order to, for that heaven on earth to be good for us. So I was contemplating a lot and asking a lot of support, like before every video, to get a clear understanding how to get to what's good and what's bad. And here is my suggestion, okay? Going back to the video about finite and infinite, if you go back, I think it's Creator 3, correct me if I'm wrong. Let's redefine good and bad, or give it the meaning that will help us get everything into good, okay? So initially, when we started studying Kabbalah some 30 whatever years ago, the first classes were telling us, well, you're going to start learning new language, the language of the branches, it's called. Meaning when you want to adjust your physical world, your understanding of the smallest understanding of the brain, which we just spent many, many videos to say the brain is very limited. Our five senses are very limited. When we study Kabbalah, the idea is to expand the capacity of our perception of the universe from the limited little tiny window of what our five senses or our little brain perceives, which is limited because humans or tiny limited capacity next to what there is. So Kabbalah is here to help us expand that ability of perceiving the universe, expand it back to what the soul can perceive. And without leaving the body, staying in the body, but saying to the body, stop limiting what I see. I want to see what's really happening. So we said last video, the one called Shake the Earth Underneath Your Feet. We're infinite beings covered with finite capacity, with finite bodies, senses, brains. And we're trying to bring it into a unification of our infinite creator being, unified with our physical being. We're here on earth. We want to bring life to a heaven on earth. And we said the way to do it is to allow our finite physical capacity to express the beauty of our infinite capacity. How do we do that? Infinite capacity is the beauty of the oneness of the universe. It's all one huge, endless thing. It's the beauty of love, the love we want to feel, of sharing, the sharing we want to receive, the capacity of caring. And we're learning that if our finite capacity, our body, is able to go with the flow of the infinite, then we have a unity. Then we live the heaven on earth in this world. So taking that to the good and bad that we started with, we wanted to define. If we finally understand that this is our goal, okay, we're setting our goal to allow ourselves as finite being to live infinite capacity of receiving by sharing. Okay, if we become sharing, if we become caring, if we start feeling one another, when I'm sharing with somebody else, I'm allowing my infinite self to express its infinity into others. What am I experiencing? My infinity. When I feel the other person needs and I'm able to fulfill those needs for them, I'm able to be the infinite that is sharing and serving what the infinite is trying to serve. The infinite is trying to fill every space with love, care, happiness, and blessings. That's the essence of the infinite, right? So by me being a tool for the infinite to share, care, blessing for others, what am I? I'm part of the infinite sharing capacity. Back to the good and bad. If you want to define what's good and what's bad for you, if you're here to make choices, we spoke, I believe, in creator number 2 and 3, how to connect to that infinite. And we want to bring it into how to make choices based on my infinite self, creator, and not based on my limited self that doesn't see what's not comfortable for it to see. And we said, what do we do? As often as possible, I want to make choices about doing good things. I want to make choices about business. I want to make choices about talking to my friend. I want to know what to say right now to you. I'm constantly asking the creator, asking my infinite, is that what you want me to say? Is that what you want me to do? I need to hash the rationale, the capacity of the five senses from taking control. We said we're not going to put the five senses and the brain in the driver's seat. We're going to make room for our infinite selves to drive the car, to show us where to go, because it sees everything without limitation. So for good and bad, every decision that we make that is part of a continuity, I want to define as good. And every decision that we make that has to have an ending, I want to define as bad. Let's say that again. Let's define good as anything that has continuity. When I share something with somebody else, it has continuity. As the quote that I posted from Karen Berg, the only thing left from us when our body leaves to the next world is what we shared. So if we want to be part of that infinite, we're coming next week to the death anniversary. We actually know it's not a death. I posted also this week, Parsha, Zohar 888, I think. What a nice number. Moshe did not die. Why did Moshe not die? Because Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, already when he lived, he gave up being the person that he thought he would be, so smart. He was an incredible human being, powerful beyond probably most leaders. He was an army leader. He was just a powerful, strong person, but he put all that aside. We know that he was the most humble person on earth. And let's define humble. Humble goes right back to what I didn't know it was coming into defining good and bad. He knew that his own capacity of being an amazing person only going to get him that much. He knew that him putting aside his amazing capacity as a person and allowing the infinite to go through him. That's humble. Knowing that everything that I know and as good as I am and as beautiful as I am, it's great. It's not something bad. But it's nothing next to the infinite that I can actually be part of. So he was always aware that it's not about him. It's about how can I become part of the infinite energy in this world. Humble. Moshe Rabbeinu, he wrote himself in the Torah, and Moshe was humble. Because humble does not mean I'm so stupid, I'm not good enough. Hell no, not at all. You should be the greatest powerful person while being humbling yourself to allow the infinite to drive your car, not the finite. So back to the purpose of this video, which is continuing what we started in the previous video. Define good and bad. I mean, try. That's a suggestion. You don't have to. Anything that I take for myself, what does it have continuity? Is it going to remain after me? Taking for myself has limited capacity of receiving, but taking for the sake of continuing, of doing something in this world, of leaving something behind me in this world, of bettering somebody else's, not because it's a moral thing to do, it is, but it's also a pleasure because I'm connecting myself to the endless. I put aside my needs, not because I don't want to meet my needs, because I want more than just my needs met. I want my needs met, but I want more. I want an infinite needs met. Doing restriction, the biggest mistake of restriction that I'm here to time after time try to put aside and refocus. Restriction does not mean taking away from my desire. Restriction means I want my needs to be met and I want all my dreams to come true. So what do I want to fill my dreams with? A limited capacity or an infinite capacity? Restriction does not mean to desire smaller. It means to desire so much more. So the purpose of this video, good is when I take infinite into my system. I put my limited desires to the side, not in order to not fulfill them, but in order to give them so much more. As again, I want to say what Ravberg used to always say, I have the biggest desire to receive for myself. I have the biggest ego. This is why I know I need to be desiring for everybody else to be good, because if I want to protect me and my loved ones, the best way is by putting my needs away and being caring for the rest of the world. When you care for the rest of the world, who cares for you? You're part of the infinite. You're receiving infinite. You're infinitely receiving by infinitely knowing that this is what you want to be. You want to be part of the infinite motion that's happening in the world, because that infinite is taking us to an infinite joy, happiness, heaven on earth. We better join the train, okay? Join the ride. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody who's giving the feedback that keeps me going and keeps me wanting to share more. Endless love to you guys.